Namaste, star friends. So glad to see you here practicing, keeping up your practice in all the ways that you can. We're going to start yoga today with a sun salutation. And then we're going to add a few poses that will keep your swimming muscles and yoga muscles ready. Come to your mat. Bring your hands to your heart. Take a deep breath and stretch the front spine, volcano pose. Exhale all the way down, standing forward bend. Put your hands at your shins, extended standing forward bend. Put your hands down, step your right leg back to your lunge. Stepping the left leg back to your plank. Bending in the elbows, trying to stay with the elbows close to your ribcage. Come down through push-up pose and into your upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right leg forward. Exhale, step your back leg to your front leg to extended standing forward bend. Standing forward bend. Hands together, come all the way unfolding into volcano pose, returning to mountain pose. We're going to repeat and let the left leg lead. Deep breath, volcano pose, standing forward bend, extended standing forward bend, left leg steps back to a lunge, and then the right leg to plank, elbows close, as you come through push-up pose, all the way down into upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your head and look ahead, and the left leg leads this second go round. Right leg to the front, extended standing forward bend. Standing forward bend. Come sit in powerful pose, and then to volcano pose, and back to mountain pose. But for now, we're going to practice a few standing poses. Turn one leg out, feet nice and wide, arms wide, and as you lengthen to one side, come on down and reach down to reach up. So we don't want to hang off of muscles. We want to stay long where we are extending. Ask to be longer there. Staying long through both sides is important. Inhale, come on up and come into warrior two. Grow your wingspan. Let all your muscles hug your bone and feel how even your fingers are participating in this stretch. Keeping the front knee bent, lengthen again, come down to side angle pose. The top arm can go up, it can go overhead, it can go behind you. And today we're going to keep it behind us and add a little bit more shoulder stretching. So we're going to slide down that little bit more and use the hand at the foot or the ankle. The elbow presses back into the leg resists. We get to turn the ribcage more toward the ceiling. And we want to build strength by building time. We get to build mobility, of course, but we want to strengthen these muscles that are stretching. So we're going to add a little bit more. The arm that is below is going to reach from underneath and catch hold back behind. And if you can't do that, use a strap, use a belt, use a tie, and give time to not staying low, but to trying to really turn and look up. Stay one more breath. Return back to your warrior two. Straighten the front leg, come back into triangle pose. And all of a sudden, this should feel easier. So I'm going to have you do one more thing. I want you to pull your front heel towards your back leg. as if you're trying to draw them together. And just notice that you're asking your muscles for some great strength work. We'll do one more. Inhale, come upright. As you bend in the front knee, turn the back foot forward, lift the back heel, and come into your warrior one. Bring your hands into streamline, lift your ribs, and just notice how this is a little bit of a back bend, and that you are stronger than you think. Push off the back leg, step the back leg to the front leg. Come and sit in that powerful pose. Keep lifting the ribs, keep that streamline, and then volcano pose, back to mountain pose. Let's do all of that on the other side. So again, you'll need to step the feet wide, turn the other foot out, a nice wide stance, arms are wide, and here we go. We want to shift the pelvis to one side, lengthen the body to the other side, keep reaching down to reach up, keep turning the rib cage. Make these muscles of your side ribs lift. They're responsible to help hold you. And then come up, bend in the front knee, grow your wingspan, stay upright in your body. Let all the muscles in your arms act as if they're trying to hug the bone. Keep the fingers reaching, keep the legs strong. One more breath. And then come on to side angle pose. And just notice what it feels like to reach overhead. You can pause the recording and spend time in all of these places. Remember, adding time is going to build strength. And then, as we did on the other side, we came down. I'm going to use holding on to my ankle, press the elbow against the leg, resist, turn, keep the legs strong, and give time for my muscles to adjust to what I'm asking. And then on to the next part. The arm reaches from below. We're going to aim to hook the hands together and to try to open up. So there are many challenges that come from every time we make progress, whether it is in your swim lane, on your dryland practice, in our yoga or Pilates practice. We understand ourselves better, we get stronger. It is motivation in itself, and it helps us to recognize that being consistent is important, and that we keep getting to experience new places because practice makes a difference. As you come up, bend in the front knee, turn from the back foot, come into your warrior one. When you bring your hands together, they help to lift the ribs more. Enjoy this place, and then step the back foot to the front foot. Come sit, stay long through your torso, return to volcano pose, and back to mountain pose. This time, we'll do some similar things from the floor. So as we come to the floor, just notice that I have a wall beside me. It's not absolutely necessary, but if you are practicing near a wall, you can park your toes at the wall. Make sure your heel and your knee are in a straight line, and come back into your streamline. Notice how you can push into your toes, and it helps turn on the other leg as well. So what's happening in this leg is that I want to be perpendicular to the floor, meaning that I'm not leaning my hip to the side in any way. And then I want to lean instead, asking the rib cage for a little bit of a bend, a side bend. The bottom hand, it can reach straight out and push the wall. It keeps me from collapsing, and it helps to add a little bit of strength work. And then the top hand has an interesting place. It can continue palm up as if it is trying to also get to the wall. And there's a long journey ahead of us in this pose. It's called gate pose. I want to eventually reach all the way down and hold my foot. And then I want to hold my foot with the top hand. And so we can explore, we can keep noticing that with practice we go further. But what is useful is recognizing where we can strengthen the muscles that are stretching. So if you can put both hands at the wall without rolling down, staying open as much as possible, similar to what we did in triangle pose and side angle pose, then please do. And then come on back. Put your hands at the floor. Come into cat and cow, rounding in the back, but pushing the hands forward, shins back, pressing through, coming into cow. And then we will do exactly the same thing on the other side. But I want to stay with you. So instead of turning the other way, I'm just going to use the other wall. And that way you can tell. I want to put my toes with the wall. I want my heel and my knee to have the same line. And I want to be as long as I can before leaning to the side. The bottom hand can reach the wall. Each side is different, and I want to go as far as I can with a comfortable challenge, and then to keep walking down that little bit more and notice if I can get all the way to the wall. And it's okay if you can't, don't force anything. But this time, when you are ready to come out, instead, we're going to go to plank. So we're going to come and do plank pose, nice and long. If you happen to be near the wall, I'm going to encourage you to park your heels at the wall and the toes at the floor. And then to turn the feet out. So if I were to put one foot in front of the other, the top foot is the front foot. It's not important to have the wall. If you do, you could put both feet together and have a little bit of strength work there too. But coming into side plank on any given day, if side plank is too much, then park the bottom knee down and notice how it is so similar to doing tree pose. But today, I'd like for us to manage tree pose from side plank with the top leg doing the tree pose so that you are here instead. Keep reaching up. Try not to sink through the body. Keep lifting with these side ribs. Notice how strong you are. And very slowly return. One leg comes back. The bent knee comes back. Come around and down. Again, please. Cat and cow. Before we do the other side, we're going to go back to plank. We're going to come into that downward facing dog. And with or without the wall, doesn't matter, we're going to take one leg up. If you happen to have the wall, put the toes at the wall, leave the heel reaching up, and try to really lengthen. Where you are, try to be longer. If you can push into those toes, then you can push into your hands with a little bit more energy and keep lengthening all the lines. We're going to come back and we're going to add on. But for now, we want to do side plank from the other side. And I'm simply going to turn and not use the wall just so that I can stay with you. From plank, feet a few inches away from each other, roll out. Take the top arm up. If you need to back off, if you want to build time, here it is, bottom leg gives you a chance to do that. Otherwise, give yourself the challenge of asking the top leg then to do that tree pose. Keep lifting. Good job. Take a deep breath. And when you're ready to return, slow and controlled, protecting the shoulder that has to bear you in this is important. So now, we're going to return to that downward facing dog, and we're going to add a little bit of rotation, then we're going to add some greater strengthening for the hamstrings in addition to a greater stretch. With or without the wall, coming into your downward facing dog, you want to measure it from your plank. And what I ask you to do today is to walk your hands toward the midline of your body and to take one arm and reach for the opposite ankle. And if you can't reach it, it is okay. What I don't want you to do is hang out to the side with one hip. I want you to keep your body centered and reach. Simply reach in that direction. If you can hold the shin, if you can hold the ankle, do. And then turn the ribcage and slowly come back. Same idea, other side, hand stays fairly centered, each side is different, and we want to reach. And even just the reach is a really wonderful way to add a balance challenge, to add arm and core strength. But if you can hang on, then turn, keep asking for a rotation of the ribcage, and slowly come back. We're going to go again. And in between, we're going to go the other way. So now, we're going to do a little bit of camel. And we're going to start with what we know in yoga, and then we're going to add what we know in Pilates. So at first, I want to not drop back. I want to stay here and take on a little bit of a back bend in the upper rib cage. This will help with all the strokes that you manage, whether it is breaststroke, or butterfly, and where I come down to reach the heels, I want to use that and send my body forward from that point. So no matter what, I don't want to injure the lower back, do what you can, and if that is too much, then we're going to try it from the Pilates side, meaning that we do have permission to drop back, and it's all about building core strength along the way. So now, reach the arms forward. Drop the body weight back. Keep the shins pressing down and back. That will protect the lower back. Roll the shoulder blades open. Remember the back bend in the upper rib cage. And then decide what you can do. Recognize you are stronger than you think. Keep reaching the arms and find your place in it, your challenge for today. And slowly come back up. We're going to repeat one more time, and we're going to have an improvised version, something that comes in between both of those variations. So the arms get to reach, we get to drop back, we take one arm back, the arms reach opposite each other. I want to still remember the back bend, the shins press down and back, and we can drop back any amount and slowly come upright and switch arms. So the idea is to protect the lower back, to keep finding upper rib cage mobility, keep reaching the arms, keep the legs strong, and come on back. So now we are going back to that downward facing dog with one leg up, and we're going to add more hamstring stretch. It'll be a nice challenge. At first, I want you to come and use the wall and come into your downward facing dog. Then walk the hands in, whether it is a third of the way or halfway in, walk the hands in. And as you take one leg up on the wall, don't let the hips turn out. Try to keep them square with the floor below you. Keep pushing away. And then take the foot that's at the floor and move it forward just a little bit. And as you do, decide if you can bring the heel closer to the floor without turning out. Each side will be different. That will give you a great challenge. Try to keep your neck relaxed. Roll the shoulders open. Reach into both legs. What's rather interesting here is that you can simply step the bottom leg up, step the top leg down, and continue with that idea. Here was our starting point to get our bearings. Then the bottom leg comes forward, and we can drop that little bit, trying to straighten both legs, trying to keep both arms pushing, both feet on. And that's a tall order. Wonderful. Lastly, we're going to come and sit, legs long, and have a great twist to finish up. One knee is bent. Bring it as close as you can, heel close as possible. Hold on to the knee, sit tall. And then turn toward the knee. Hug the knee a little bit. Take the back arm behind you to prop you up and come a little bit deeper into the pose. If your body gives you permission to turn even further, the elbow goes to the outer knee, just like this. What we don't want to do is to bring the knee in. It needs to stay in its place, and the upper body needs to twist. The arm and the leg work against each other, even the fingers reach up. The long leg is reaching, and slowly come on back. Before you come all the way back, I want you to still hug the knee deeply, still sit tall, and lift the long leg and reach it away. Notice how you sit taller in your spine even. And then let's do the other side. Good job. I'm going to turn around so that we get to stay together. And I'm going to pull the other knee in, heel close as possible. We always want to lengthen the spine before we twist. And hug the knee deep. So a deep twist feels good, especially when it is a strengthening twist. So here we are, elbow to the outer knee. I'm trying not to let the knee cave. I want to keep it in its place. Both sitting bones get to stay even with the floor. And I want to check out and notice turning through the spine, turning through all parts of the spine. You can even turn your head and look back behind. But when you're ready to slowly come out of it, still hang on, still sit tall, lift the bottom leg, reach it actively out. Notice how you sit taller yet. Wonderful. In all of these places, you can stay a little bit longer. You can repeat and build time. You will build strength. You will build more of an understanding of what to ask for, and that is important for the sake of safety as well. Enjoy your practice. Whatever it is that you are practicing, enjoy watching yourself move through it and make progress, because the strength that you build is helping you to understand your place in the world. It all benefits where you get to go. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.